Welcome to Blue the Rangers page today. Today we are looking at how to fix stuff like this, where technically right now I'm in overdrive, but it's sitting on neutral. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that real quick and get it realigned. It involves pulling this dash off. So if anything you have that's going to be in the way, like I had a charger cord in here, go ahead and pop that out. That way you just don't have anything too far on the way. If you have an aftermarket stereo, some of these outer cases are going to need to be pulled off, which I will show you how to do in just a moment. So these guys right here are what you're going to use if you have an aftermarket radio. Should be with it, of course, unless you bought it secondhand. You're going to put these right on the side here. You're going to kind of figure out where they go. And on them, it'll say outside. So this side needs to be on the outside. This side needs to be on the outside. And just like that, you have your frame pulled off. It's just a bunch of clips for mine. Yours is most likely going to be a bunch of clips, knowing that it's Ford. And so this next part, it's going to be a little bit of jimmying. Some of you might have it easier than others. Me, in my case, I've got a good starting point. I've got a broken clip down here already. So I'm going to start from this side and kind of just pop it out. It's the same as anything else with Ford. You go through, you pop it off of stuff. And then again, with these little guys, you're going to put them in your stereo for pulling it out, of course. You're going to slip them in the side. You're going to be able to feel a hook in there. And you're going to start to pull it out. Sometimes it's easier said than done, though. And so then you kind of pop that out. Then you go around the rest of the way. And just continue to pull the whole dash off. Keep in mind, if your shift is on the steering column, which in this case, if you've got it up here, it's going to be. Just be careful that you don't sit there and smack against it and you're going to throw stuff everywhere. I've had to do this before in a previous modification where I basically just kind of customized the dash layout with a second instrument cluster. And like I said, it takes some jimmying, or it takes a little bit of pulling around to get that clip out. There we go. And so once you've gotten all the clips loosened, the only other spot to pull from now isn't to really pull, but you're going to need a screwdriver, Phillips head, and down in your ashtray there are going to be 2 bolts you got to take out. And I'm actually wrong on that. You need a star head, so give me 2 seconds. So now I've got all my stars here. I'm just basically going to pop T25 out and see if it works. Too big. So we're going to try another one. Let's move it down to T20. And that fits. So we're going to pop that on. And having one of these screwdrivers, obviously not sponsored, you can get them any company you want. I work at Tractor Supply. I got these for really cheap in an entire set, along with all of my sockets, 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive sockets with, I think it's a 200 some piece set, 230 some pieces. So it's got all of your pieces for the screwdriver. It's got all of your pieces for your sockets, the different sockets you're going to use, all that sort of stuff. You're going to go ahead, pull these out. And those are just gonna sit on your dash. And then you've got one more right here. Now this should be free to come out a little bit. So now you should be able to pop that out. So, found that it is easier to go ahead and pull all your cables out of your stereo, whether you have an aftermarket one or the original. And if you've got the original, again, just get a Kenwood. I've said this before. These stereos are great. Kicker speakers. But now, you're going to want to try to get to this little knob over here. If we can get the camera over here. There's a little knob in here. And basically, it's got a bunch of gears on it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn your key over. Just one click, right? You're going to want to turn it over. You're going to want to put it, like right now, it's supposed to be in overdrive. So you're going to want to try to spin that. And see which direction you need to spin it. And then whether it is right or left, based on where it is having issues for you, then change it. And if you find that, you know, you don't have a pair of pliers laying around, which I do, just don't feel like going and getting them at the moment, and don't mind showing this. If you find that it's a little harder to get to it with your fingers, to actually turn it, to get it to where it needs to be, there's going to be a total of 2, 4, 6, 7 of these little screws around the plastic glass looking holder for your instrument cluster or your gauges. And you just go ahead and screw those out. I'm using a T15 star bit. And these are all tools that come in like the driveway toolbox, is what I like to call it. Because you don't need a garage for these tools. You don't need some sort of parkway or anything like that. You need a driveway. Just sit in your driveway. I mean, I'm sitting in a gravel alley at my grandparents' house. So, really, I mean, there's a garage over there. Just don't feel like moving vehicles to pull it in. Because you know what? You don't need to pull it in. You can do it right here. Do it wherever you need to. Go through, pull these off. And this glass, unlike everything else, you do not need to wiggle off. It is actually properly mounted. There's not plugs you need to fit in to all these weird spots. And don't lose your pieces. And that glass. And if you ever want to clean your glass, clean it. Go ahead and take the time to clean it. But you're now going to be able to move this a little bit. Get your fingers behind it. See, look how much easier I can get in there. Don't need a bit, don't need none of that. So now I'm going to turn it over, put it to where it's not supposed to be, and I'm just going to adjust it. This one took a lot of turning. And now, as you guys saw in my previous videos, I put a transmission in, a new transmission, a new used transmission that had 89,000 miles on it. And when putting it in, there was an issue with their the linkage, you know, it just being off a little bit. So I'm gonna put it there right on overdrive where it should be in gear right now. I'm gonna put it up in park. It's a little off. Put it in reverse. It's on. Neutral. It's on. There's overdrive. There's overdrive. Kind of working it through, figuring out where everything sits. See, it's too far over. want to make sure everything lines up, not just the one you're trying to put it in. So 2. I think this may even be 1. It's all the way back here now. So keep readjusting. I'll put it directly on park. Reverse. There we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Park. Reverse. Neutral. Overdrive. Drive. 2, 1. And sometimes you're not going to be able to get it like spot on for every single one, but as long as it is beeping, as long as it is mostly there, as long as that it is as close to the center as you can get it for all of them, especially with having the transmission that I have is actually out of a 93 Mustang. The cable might be, you know, having a different slack in it. I'm not too sure, but as long as you can move it through and you can tell what gears you're in, you're on a good track. Like right now, drive. 2, 1. Now 1 sits directly on it. 2 sits directly on it. Drive. Overdrive. Neutral sits on the upright of the N. Reverse sits right on it, and park. So that's as good as I can get it. Neutral is just a hair off, but everything else sits fine. And when am I ever in neutral? So, and then make sure you got all your pieces laid out so you can put it back together properly. Boom, snaps right in. Get this, get your glass. Now I don't have any cleaner right now, so we're just gonna go ahead and dust it all off with our sweatshirt. And dust everything off. Place that right back in the best you can. And sometimes your shift knob is in the way, so you pull it down to first. Put it back up, and you're good. Just put these back in. Would be really nice to have is a ratcheting screwdriver. One you can just kind of turn and use as a ratchet. Man, be awesome. Now, the pieces that you're putting it in are plastic, so don't overscrew them. Gets tight, it stays there, you're good. Don't overscrew them. You're gonna strip everything. What I'm surprised is that I believe these are grade 8 screws. So now it's all done. Park, reverse, neutral, obviously on that end right there. Gonna roll forward just slightly, and then overdrive, forward, drive, forward, 2, forward, 1, forward. Jerk my camera lady around a little bit. Yeah, now it's all done, and now you know how to fix that. And I've diagnosed it for you if that's your issue. It took a matter of probably, what, 15 minutes? Easy as can be. All you need is a screwdriver. And there's little things if you get an aftermarket radio. If you don't, your radio comes right out. That's it. You pull your dash off, your radio comes right out. And you're good. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you want. And the next video should be me putting in these fog lights.
Look at how cute he is. Look at his tools.